A number of very good news stories for Tesla investors dropped today and this weekend. First, Elon Musk and President Trump were seen sitting together for the first time since May at Charlie Kirk's memorial, shaking hands and laughing. This is very good news for Tesla. Second, Tesla's robotaxi service is expanding. This time, Tesla has officially received approval from the Arizona Department of Transportation to start testing autonomous vehicles on public roads, starting first with a safety driver. Elon responded to a post saying people will soon see robotaxis as obvious in hindsight. Third, yet another spy shot of what looks like the more affordable vehicle driving on public roads. But this time, we also now have software code discovered that refers to this new model. The leaked details suggest no glass roof, no second row display, simplified suspension, and so on. We'll go through this long list. Fourth, Tesla has made a huge update to their US website, now saying that you need to order by September 30th to take advantage of the federal EV credit. You only need to order it, not have it delivered by that date. And finally, we have Tesla vehicles spotted that might be testing FSD version 14. We have Jeff Lutz here with us today. He's the ex-CVP of Supply Chain, Chief Quality Officer. He's now the CEO of his own supply chain consulting firm. Welcome, Jeff.
Hey, Herbert. Wow, what a weekend.
Great news for Tesla stocks jumping and various reasons, but this could be one. This could be one reason. Looks like that Elon and President Trump have come together. They were both at Charlie Kirk's memorial. This is Elon posting this, this photo. We got a video to play as well. They're sitting together. Then he said, there it is, hugging each other. Trump and Elon spotted together for the first time since May, shaking hands and laughing. Beautiful photos here. So let's play a little bit of the video.
Yeah, I mean, this is the most, powerful person in the world, politician, and the most powerful, capable entrepreneur in the world. I mean, he's got whatever, 6 decacorn business. I mean, he's just in a world, by himself in terms of creating businesses and industries. And I think the two of them by the way, I think they've been mostly aligned the whole time. Obviously, they got into a back and forth over the summer. By the way, I think that really knocked Tesla off of its trajectory in June, big time. And I think it set it back, but I think a lot of that is in the rear view mirror. And I think Elon and his companies are mostly aligned with this administration. I think it's a good thing. I think it's good for the country. It's good for Elon. It's good for his businesses. You're not going to agree with everybody on everything. It just doesn't happen. If you do, then something's wrong. Maybe you should think about that. But in the large part, this is a great thing for the country and for Elon and his companies.
Yeah, it's fantastic. It's better than not. And at least they're not at war. This is very good news. It's a beautiful photo here. And it looks like that both President Trump and Elon posted it themselves individually.
Right.
So,
yeah.
And then you and I were joking that there's a lot of people that were body language and they're doing that. But end of the day, what matters is they're talking again and they're back together. So
and I think the original olive branch came from there were several decent statements made from the president and the White House over the last couple of months. And I was a little surprised that Elon didn't respond, differently, but you could see it kind of ramping up. I never thought that, Elon was just going to join that CEO roundtable business. I mean, that wouldn't be the first time they get together. The first time they get together would be something like this, which is kind of the ability to sit next to each other one-on-one or in a small group and very small group in private where there's not a microphone in their face and have a conversation. So hopefully this is the, first of many, interactions going forward.
That's good. So that could have moved the stock, but even a bigger reason why the stock might have moved was because of this news that dropped a couple days ago. It looks like the Tesla actually officially received approval from the Arizona Department of Transportation to test autonomous vehicles on public roads. Sawyer confirmed with the Arizona DOT Tesla's met the requirements. So they have a self-certification stating its plans to test autonomous vehicles using safety drivers. So it sounds like it is a safety driver at first, but that's normal. That is what we expect to happen at most of these cities and states. You start off with a safety driver. Once you get moving, and then you hit certain milestones, you get moving as well. So this is everybody's been checking here, and it's looked like these are the list of other companies that have been approved. And again, if Waymo's there and other companies have been there, that's why this is not a regulatory issue for Tesla to move forward for many, many states. So it's actually opposite of what people thought. The regulation will slow them down. It's not. Here we go. This is big news. Jeff, what's your thinking? Timing-wise, too.
Yeah, and this is where there's just a lot of, I think, confusion on X. Of the people see these list of companies that are approved and like, oh, well, why wasn't Tesla approved 2 years ago? Tesla didn't want to be approved 2 years ago. They want to make a product that can go to market and get to scale. And the product that can go to market and get to scale is the software that's in the current Austin and California robotaxis. That's probably being up-revved now, and they're doing this major up-rev to version 14. That's what's going to get to scale. That other list of companies on there, it's some of them maybe applying for these permits and maybe generally trying to test their prototypes, but you have to understand a lot of these companies have different motivations. Oh, I just got this permit, value my company or value it differently now because I have this permit to test. But if you dig into the financials of how those vehicles are made, what's the infrastructure behind it, can it scale, how many can they do, you realize the economic side of it's broken. So for so long, analysts and other people were just looking at, how many permits were applied for, and you have to have both. You have to have the technical solution and the business solution together. And so far, the only one that has a shot of being a technical and a business solution in robotaxi form, a good shot, is Tesla's. The others are at a minimum questionable, and I would say greater than 90% of them aren't viable.
Yeah. Keep reminding everybody, business model matters if you are not just here to prototype. I mean, you've got tremendous experience here. It's easy to roll out a prototype, show a demo. That's one thing. Actually have intentions of going mass scale, global, billions of phones in your case, or, millions of robotaxis. It's only Tesla that's doing that. But the timing, right? So it seems like every 2 weeks there's an announcement of a new location. So hopefully we're going to see that by the end of this year, more of these coming. This is the other thing, Elon obviously is very focused now, and he's been replying to many people. This one guy, Mike, says, do you understand that I literally haven't driven my car in 10 months, but I've been in the driver's seat almost every day? Do you understand what is happening here, right? Many of us who's been testing out our own cars, which has full self-driving in it, are realizing this thing is very, very good. Elon replied to him, says, they don't understand yet, but it will seem obvious in hindsight. One of those things. One of the reasons people still find that they have issues with their cars, I have this happen to me just this weekend as well, is you have this, they have an issue with the off-gassing, and I guess what happens is underneath the front camera, under the windshield, it gets very, very foggy, and then that's when you get your sunlight warning. That's when you get the FSD maybe not performing well. Take a look at that, and all of a sudden you realize that's what it is, and you're going to get it fixed. So Dirty Tesla fixed it himself, but you can take it to a service and they will fix it. But Elon said this is a major area of focus. So they're aware of this problem and they're trying to solve it.
Yeah, this is Tesla knows what to do, but this is where I'd recommend that they speak with the smartphone industry, some of the best players who's even sometimes now are still challenged with this issue, but in general, it's been mostly solved. And this relates to the materials used in the construction of the camera, and then that system being sealed and then put under various environments, whether it's vibration, ultraviolet light, temp, humidity, and maybe sometimes all of them together at the same time. And sometimes what can occur is a chemical reaction of some of the materials involved with used that are used to assemble the camera modules. So think of the camera module as this base sensor. You think it looks like a chip. This sensor is optical sensor, and then on top of it, there's a stack of lenses, and then depending on the complexity of the cameras, the number of lenses and types. Some are plastic, some are glass, and then there's a module in there that can help move the lenses as needed, depending on the type of camera. And then there's a cover lens over it, and then there's this housing that is assembled, this plastic, polycarbonate, whatever material type housing that surrounds all of that and encases the camera module. And then those materials, there's adhesives involved. There's gasketing, there's adhesives involved, and any one of those materials could react. They could react together because they're bonded together, or they could react by themselves. And that's what causes this phenomenon called outgassing. And it's outgassing basically is that material, basically sending off a vapor, and that vapor is what's actually clouding the lens that's in your camera module. So that's what's happening, most likely. And this has been solved. This has been solved with adhesive selection, the bonding process. There's been a number of ways that this problem has been solved in the smartphone industry with fairly decent robustness. It's just something that could be looked at.
Yeah, I remember the iPhone just released, and then somebody was complaining about how the camera is already thing, and because you have so much experience, you said, "Well, that's unfortunate, permanent. You gotta bring that in." So even Apple, it has these problems where a brand new phone launched, and then they find out that there's this gas that then blocks the camera because it's underneath the glass. And
even with that thin phone, Herbert, they had to thin out that. Anytime a smartphone vendor has to take another step down in terms of thinning out something like the camera module, they put themselves at risk. They typically have to use different adhesives. They typically have to use different gasketing materials to get the thinness, but the sealing and performance. And anytime something new is entered into the system, this is why a lot of these companies are very risk averse at doing something new like this. So I imagine that's what happened. We don't know the failure rate of what's happening on the iPhone Air side, but in this situation, we've got a pretty good feel for it. The nice thing about Tesla is this module can be at least pulled. You can't pull your smartphone apart and do what Tesla. So that's the only nice part of it. But they need to solve this problem permanently.
My point, though, is that even Apple, years of experience, but the reason why it happened is because they are actually in production. Billions of phones are going to be made of this version. And then here's Tesla. People realize Tesla's already making millions of cars that are all robotaxis. And that's why, dirty Tesla's car, my car, has this issue, but they'll solve it. And Elon said that's their top priority. Okay. This the next story is a more affordable vehicle, Jeff, and I really wanted to get your opinion on this one. It's a big one. We keep seeing spy shots. This is yet another one. We've seen this where they cover the front and the back. People assume that this is the more affordable vehicle. This may not be it, but here's the difference this time around. The software code it's about to be launched. You can go into it and there's leaked details inside of it. And they found out a lot of things. So first of all, they're calling it the E41 model. So that kind of verifies that there is a different model of Tesla, the Model Y that's coming out. Very likely the Model Y, the affordable, because it has all of this. So unique front fascia, no panel roof, no roof, I guess, no rear screen, no what's that, TPMS, the automatic tire pressure monitoring system. Yeah. 18-inch wheel, simplified suspension, lots of things, been removed. Basic fiber headlights, no powerful mirrors, simplified seats, no welcome lights. So we were expecting a lot of things to be removed. This is Green D Only, who digs into the software, and he saw a lot of these kind of information here. Backup camera would lose a heater. I mean, just so many things. Is this what you were expecting? And we don't know yet if the whole car has shrunk, but certainly suspension and then no glass roof is, I think, what they're saying here too.
Yeah, so I think Tesla could do a number of things here. One is they could defeature a Model Y as described here and ship it. I've always said that they could do that. They did that with the Model 3 in Mexico, but I never thought that that would take them, 6 quarters of announcements on earnings calls to do. But they could do it. Like it just could be a SKU that they put out there and do. What I hope they do is some combination of this in a smaller vehicle, because a smaller vehicle will allow them to use a smaller battery pack, and that's going to really start allowing them to cut into the price of the vehicle. The perfect thing for Tesla would be is, okay, this 930 September 30th in the US, the perfect thing for Tesla would be is this credit expires. There's still some overhang with these orders that they can be fulfilled for the next 4 to 6 weeks. So they're still, they still got great volume. And then right behind it, they're getting the volume. A version of the Model Y that's maybe $3,000 to $4,000 cheaper the bill. That's 10%, by the way. It's not a small number. Maybe it's more. You have that. You have another rate cut coming, and all of a sudden, remember Tesla puts up thousands, and when Tesla buys down the interest rates, they're putting up thousands of dollars up front. They accrue when a Model Y is sold. In terms of our earnings, it's a several $1,000 hit per vehicle to earnings. So if they have less of the rates to buy down, they have a car that's several $1,000s less to build. I'm not saying we're shooting for the moon here. I think I'm being reasonable. But now all of a sudden you're getting into the maybe $3,000 to $5,000 range, and then Tesla can now offer a meaningfully cheaper. They could bite the bullet and they could be selling. Here, if you need to buy a Model Y at the $7,500 tax credit price point, not only will we have it available in the U.S., but we can make this available worldwide. So this is remember, the U.S. is about a third of Tesla's volume, maybe a little bit higher of the last quarter or so. But now you can make this cheaper vehicle. You can solve for the tax credit issue and this continuity of continuing to drive down price. It's a nice between point between where Tesla is today and getting to the sub $30,000 vehicle. So I think they can do both things. I think they could do a similar size Model Y, defeature it, put it up for sale, a couple $1,000s less. I think they could take another chunk lower by doing a smaller version of the vehicle as well. So let's see. Finally, I think for the viewers to know is we're not going to see a lot of leaks out of Tesla. And one of the reasons you don't see a lot of leaks out of Tesla, especially as it relates to form factor of the vehicle, is anything that determines the size or form factor of the vehicle is made inside of the Tesla factory. They're not going to suppliers for it. So you're not going to see those leaks. You're not going to see all of a sudden this meaningfully smaller door, or you're not going to see this. That's all made inside of the factory. So those are all the variables I think that are at play. But in general, if you're following this stock and if you're still addicted to watching, the number of car sales, which it's still important. This is how Tesla generates cash to go fund their AI efforts. So this is still important. I think if you're bullish on the name, you can't have it both ways. There's still some importance to this. So if this is still important to you, I think Tesla's coming out with new hardware. So we'll see what they ultimately announce this quarter. But anytime they take a couple $1,000 step down in price, it's a big impact on volume.
Yeah, that's a good point about, if Tesla makes these cars in their factories, we won't necessarily see them. We won't necessarily understand it. But this code revealed this information. Jeff, how much money do you think this is? Just based on this list that you saw here, how much reduction in price could this be? 5,000, you said? Is it 2,000? What is it?
I think this list is a couple of thousand. It's not 5,000. Okay. I think, but getting to the smaller battery and then the smaller mass and then the smaller body mechanics will help everything else. It'll help consumables. It'll help all the adhesives. It'll help everything else if they can take the mass down of the vehicle. You've heard, Lars talk about this appropriately so many different times. So I think that I hope that's what they're doing. but if they're doing a similar size Model Y too, there's value in that too. It's going to be a reduction in price as well. And there's a lot of reasons, by the way, to do that. And it's going to, from a crash testing perspective, there's more known in terms of when you're doing the same size vehicle. But I mean, they're making some structural changes here too, if this is what actually happens. I don't know how, the only thing I don't understand in the software release, by the way, I know this process very well, I don't know why this information is coming up in a software release. I don't understand how. I get the fact, okay, if the second row display is deleted, that they could see that in software, they could see that functionality commented out. I don't understand fiberglass headliner, what that would have to do.
No glass roof. Why would that? Yeah.
Yeah. Why would that be anything that we would see in software, in software notes? If someone wants to comment, that's great. So I think be careful, by the way, with some of these things. Sometimes there's these leaks created, there's this hype created, kind of go off what we know or we don't know. And I think there's very plausible axioms. We know Tesla wants to make lower cost vehicles. We know that. They told us they want to do that. We know that they said more affordable vehicles and other vehicles, by the way. So we know they did that. We know they did the Model Y long. And we know they did a fairly good job of concealing that, to be honest with you, until it was revealed. Just I would leave it there. Sometimes these things could be merged. I just don't understand how the fiberglass headliner is coming up in software release notes. I don't understand why that would be there. That's the only part I didn't understand.
And then Green Yoli, who's looking at the software, said there's going to be a rear-wheel drive and all-wheel drive trims. Both have special motor configurations, though no idea what the motors would be. Let's see if I may be able to get the internal renders next.
And that capability, that would be in software, or if they're going to a new type of motor, these are things that could be found in software. But the front fascia, I don't know, unless I don't know. I'm skeptical.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not skeptical that Tesla's doing a new vehicle. I'm skeptical that release notes are going to tell me that I'm changing the headliner material in my vehicle.
Yeah, tell everything. Yeah. Okay, that's great info. We just need to interpret what we have, but we don't know yet what we really have. But yeah, clearly the more affordable vehicle is going to come out soon, and we're starting more and more to see things. This announcement by Tesla, Model 3 and Model Y battery packs retain 85% of their capacity on average after 200,000 miles of driving. We also offer an 8 years or 120,000 miles battery warranty, whichever comes first. The degradation of these batteries are very low. I mean, I basically, I'm estimating it's like 1% per year. That's basically what it is. So they're very, very good. It's a big misconception. Elon says long-lasting batteries. Your expertise in batteries, we'll cover that in more detail in the next show tomorrow morning. But is the prices fallen to the point where they can have the more affordable vehicle and have smaller size battery, but yet pretty significant, not a major loss in range?
Well, globally, the market prices have fallen, but there's been a disruption in the matrix, and that disruption in the matrix are tariffs. So we'll have to see how this plays out. The U.S. Localizing LFP battery production is a very important step, and the government needs to be getting behind it. There's some things we may talk about tomorrow regarding that and what's happening with GM and various lithium mines. But it's a very good thing. Batteries are, have the mass of a battery. It's actually better, I believe, for the U.S. to localize it. If it's highly automated and it's localized, and the raw materials are localized, you look at the thing you analyze, try to understand is the total landed cost of the system. And I think there is a play to be able to make batteries, competitively with China, if not cheaper. To get cheaper than China, we're going to have to do some real innovation in terms of process step removal and acceleration of process times. But I think it is possible. I think it is possible to do. So I'm a big fan of these moving over. But like I said, there has been, if you're just talking about the here and now, there's a disruption in the matrix. And that disruption in the matrix is, if I want to buy batteries from China, I have an escalating tariff right now on the battery materials and finished cells, and of course finished packs as well. And that's taking a meaningful chunk out of this market, the spot market decline. And then at the same time in the US, we don't have our capacity. We as a country, not just Tesla only, we don't have our capacity where we would like it. Tesla is further ahead in terms of companies that consume batteries. They probably, in terms of OEMs, they're probably, many times ahead of any other company in the US that needs a battery in their final assembled end state and where it's produced. They've got Nevada, they've got Austin, they have some small capability in Cato Road. And so they're in a good spot, but they need to take this next move. And I'm not sure the next move is even the right size jump for Tesla. I think they need to make even a bigger jump with LFP capacity. So I think a couple of things have to come together, but the U.S. is moving in the right direction in terms of localizing battery production.
That's good to hear from your opinion on that. You are close to our battery expert. We'll talk about EOS tomorrow as well, the long storage, energy storage business. So tomorrow, September 30th, which is 8 days from now, is the end of this quarter, Q3. We're expecting, many people are expecting a huge quarter for us, maybe 480,000 vehicles sold, maybe even higher. But it's also the date when the federal EV credit goes away. And so Tesla has made a huge update to their US website. Okay, they're now saying that you have to order, you have to basically take order by September 30th. So if you want to take advantage of this $7,500 federal tax credit, you need to act before September 30th. Used to be that the rules were that you'd have to complete the delivery by September 30th. Now Tesla is basically clarifying that you don't need to take the delivery. You just need to order it by September 30th. So this is your last 8 days if you guys want to do this. Yeah. So while it still ends, this new flexibility and eligibility and being able to take delivery later will help Tesla's Q4 vehicle delivery numbers and enable a lot more people to use the 7,500 federal EV credit. That bit's a bit confusing. Is it registered? I guess it only when you take delivery, then it becomes a delivery for Q4. But I think that Tesla came out and just kind of announced this now because they wanted you to act earlier that you needed to take delivery. But we've known that you can do this already, or just take order by September 30th. Or is there something I'm misunderstanding here, Jeff?
I think they've gotten a little bit more certainty in terms of what they can say publicly. A lot of things happen when companies are in production on a 90-day quarterly calendar. And they may have had a burst of inventory also they want to get through. So a number of things could have happened. But this does really change the dynamic. This changes a lot of the signaling to their suppliers. This changes a lot of things. I'm sure the Tesla supply chain I think they scenario plan for this, but there are parts that have, greater than 20 weeks of lead time. And 20 weeks ago, this is the back and forth on this. 20 weeks ago, we thought this was expiring at the end of December. Mm-hmm. So my guess is the Tesla supply chain put fairly big orders on for the third and fourth quarter. And then the big, beautiful bill was signed in July. And a week or so before that, we kind of got intelligence that this was pulled into September, and you had to take delivery by September. So then that caused a bunch of back and forth. So I think what this does for Tesla is suppliers aren't going to be able to react that quickly. I think they've set up for actually a fairly big Q3 and Q4, to be honest with you. And all this does is this takes the working capital risk away from Tesla and away from Tesla's suppliers, to be honest with you, because it looks like there's going to be this positive overhang of more demand that they can burn through in the quarter. And this hopefully allows them to ramp this lower cost vehicle and have it ready in supply on the other side of this. So this is a very good thing for Tesla. I think this whole thing of like Q4 is going to be a disaster,
right?
And it's just you're driving off the cliff. That got erased. So I think that's part of the reason you're seeing the move today. The other part of the reasons is Arizona expansion with robotaxi, again, huge. Of course, Trump, and then of course the reconciliation, the start of that with the president in Elon. So these are massive. These
Yeah.
are massive catalysts. And the whole backdrop behind this, you've got this energy business and you've got everybody going nonstop. I'm building an AI factory that's going to be the size of Manhattan. I'm doing this. All these things need to be powered. All of them need to be powered and they need to be powered efficiently. And we can have all the natural gas, all the turbines, everything in the world that we want. But if we're only using them at 30 or 40% utilization and we have the ability to absorb that other energy and use it, we should be doing that. And we're going to need so much more energy. So I think there's a great setup here for Tesla and other companies.
Yeah, Q4 may not be as bad because you got the more affordable vehicle. You've got this, pull in from, I don't know, pull in, pull out from the EV credit, because now all these things that are ordered before September this week, it's going to be pulled into Q4. Interesting. Tesla updated its referral program. So if you use your referral code now, anybody who buys a Model S and X, they will receive 1,000 off, and you will receive 1,000 off. What? It's only 250? I thought I
No,
read it
up
was
from 250. Yeah.
Up.
Yeah. It used to be 250 before this. So
Yeah. I think I'm misunderstanding. I think Model S, X, and Cybertruck, they will get 1,000, you'll get 1,000, but the Model 3s and Y is still the 250. Okay. This is just for the Model S and X and Cybertrucks, but they've upped the program there. And then this Chuck Cook obviously follows very closely these Tesla operators who are driving their cars around his neighborhood, because it's got this famous unprotected left turn. And every time he sees something like this, he kind of knows that something's going on, and he started to see them again. He's thinking that's FSD version 14. So they are out now. It's all a guess. We don't know what they're testing, but it could be FSD version 14, especially that just a week ago, we heard that employees of Tesla are testing FSD version 14. So it does make sense that they're out here in force testing these things out there. Just another big potential, version 14, right?
I think for viewers, version 14, the way it's been described is the computer in the vehicle now is far more capable. It's almost like it got its massive, RAM upgrade. I'm doing a comparison. Nothing physically happened with the computer, but in terms of the software and the capability and its processing power and capability, it's going up, maybe up to 10x more, and that's going to allow it to do more and to act more maybe human-like or even non-human-like. Just drive perfect, drive like a chauffeur. So I think this is what people have to look forward to. At the same time, if you remember the release of V13, we didn't get V13.0 as users. There was a couple of point releases, and then it came out. So I imagine that would happen with version 14 as they integrate this new model.
Okay. Great show. Thank you so much. Perfect. Lots of things happening. I think version 14 is going to be the biggest catalyst. Not right away, but it'll be the one version that's going to start. It's like we're starting to already see it. People are realizing version FSD works, but this will be solidifying that. Yeah, Tesla solved it.
And you're starting to see all the analyst notes waking up of like, oh, I drove this many states. I didn't have to do anything, and it's happening. And this is you started the show off with it, Herbert, of that post of people don't realize they've been driving this way for 10 months. That's everybody's alpha. If you own the vehicle and if you're following the name or you're investing, that's I don't know. I don't know how many times my wife says that, but that's what that is.
And my wife always says every time I'm using FSD, she goes, "Don't people know this car's driving us up?" I go, "No, they don't. No one knows. No one knows." You get some in from the parking lot. No one knows that this can do this.
Yeah, okay. Maybe Tesla should have the car glow or something when it's on FSD or something. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe not, but yeah, it's going to happen. By the way, I do think Tesla's timing maybe some more advertising or some more. They know they have a problem with awareness. They said they have a problem with awareness on the last earnings call. So if we get to the next earnings call, the question is going to be is what have you fundamentally and effectively done to improve awareness, and how effective is it? For me, I'd rather we see production and we see deliveries. I'd rather see an awareness metric of we sent this survey out to users, or we sent FSD out for free. How many people actually used it? To me, that's actually could be a more meaningful metric than production and deliveries.
Actually, a very interesting thought exercise. That is very interesting. Thank you, Jeff. Follow Jeff on his X account at the Jeff Lutz. We will put his referral link. So if you want to buy a Model S, Model X, Cybertruck, any car, use his referral link. He deserves that. And if you want to buy a car, this is it. This week, you got to go and order something now. Go take a look and use Jeff's referral link, and then you get 1,000 off if it's Model S, X, or Cybertruck, and you will get 3 months free FSD if it's any of the 3 or Ys. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.